My dad retired at 55. He earned 25,000 rupees a month, about $300. I earn 1,20,000 rupees, around $1,400, and I cannot afford his lifestyle. Not even close. Let that sink in for a second. If you are watching this, I am willing to bet you know exactly what that feels like. You earn more money than your parents did at your age. Maybe a lot more. You have a degree they never had. You work longer hours than they did. You answer emails at midnight. You juggle subscriptions, bills, EMIs, and responsibilities they never faced. And yet, you cannot comfortably afford a house. Taking a vacation feels irresponsible. Having kids feels expensive. Saving for retirement feels almost impossible. So here's the question nobody seems willing to ask. If you are earning more than your parents ever did, more rupees, more dollars, more of everything, why do you still feel poor? Because here is the thing. You are not imagining it. And no, it is not because you bought too many coffees or ordered takeout twice this week. For years, we have been told a simple story. Work hard, get educated, get a good job, earn more money, and your life will naturally get better. But millions of people followed that exact formula and somehow ended up running faster just to stay in the same place. It is like being on a treadmill that speeds up every year. You think you are making progress because your salary number keeps going up, but the floor beneath you is moving even faster. Look at housing. In many countries, home prices have risen dramatically faster than wages over the last few decades. Your parents may have bought a house worth 3 or 4 times their annual income, maybe 5 to 7 lakh rupees, roughly $6,000 to $8,500 back then. Today, in major cities, that same house costs 60 to 90 lakh rupees, $72,000 to $108,000. And that is 8, 10, sometimes 15 times what people earn in a year. The finish line moved. Then there is education. Previous generations could often pay for college with part-time work or graduate with manageable debt. Today, higher education is one of the biggest financial burdens young adults face. Healthcare costs have climbed, childcare has exploded, even basic necessities cost significantly more. And meanwhile, people are constantly told, just budget better. Budget what exactly? You cannot budget your way out of structural change. And this is where most financial conversations completely miss the point, because the real problem is not simply inflation. It is where inflation goes. Most people think inflation means groceries getting more expensive. Milk costs more, eggs cost more, rent goes up, and yes, that is part of it. But there is another kind of inflation that quietly changed everything. Asset inflation. Think of the economy as 2 elevators inside the same building. One elevator carries wages, the other carries assets, houses, stocks, land, businesses. For decades, the wage elevator has been slowly crawling upward. Meanwhile, the asset elevator has been shooting toward the penthouse. Between 2000 and 2022, global asset prices grew at roughly 3 to 4 times the rate of wage growth. That is straight from a 2023 McKinsey Global Institute report. And according to Harvard's Joint Center for Housing Studies, the median home price in America alone rose over 118% since 1965, while real wages grew only about 15%. If your family already owned assets, they rose with that elevator. If they did not, you have been trying to climb the stairs while carrying groceries. That is why 2 people earning identical salaries, identical rupees, identical dollars, can live completely different financial realities. One inherits a house, the other pays half their paycheck in rent. One gets help with a down payment, the other starts from zero. Same income, different game. And here's the psychological trap that makes all of this so much worse. Because nobody talks about it openly, people internalize the struggle. They think, I must be doing something wrong. I am bad with money. I am behind. Everyone else seems fine. Why am I struggling? But if millions of hardworking people across different countries, people earning good rupees, good dollars, good euros, are experiencing the exact same frustration, maybe it is not just an individual failure. Maybe the rules changed. Let us talk about those rules. Since the global financial crises of recent decades, central banks around the world have injected enormous amounts of money into financial systems. The goal was to stabilize economies and encourage growth, and in many ways it worked. Markets recovered, asset prices climbed, Economic indicators improved, but there was a side effect. New money does not spread evenly. Imagine pouring water onto a hill. The people standing closest to the top get soaked first. The people at the bottom wait for whatever trickles down. Between 2020 and 2023 alone, the U.S. Federal Reserve expanded its balance sheet by over $4 trillion. In India, the RBI's balance sheet nearly doubled over the same period. All that fresh money flows into assets first. Property, gold, equities, not your savings account. Never your savings account. So while you are proudly watching your balance after saving 10,000 rupees, call it $120, this month, inflation quietly ate 6% of its value. Your savings account gave you maybe 3.5% back. You just lost money by saving money. That is the world we are living in right now. That is why headlines can celebrate booming stock markets, while ordinary people wonder why their paycheck still disappears before the month ends. Two realities can exist at the same time. The economy can grow, and your life can still feel harder. That is not a contradiction. That is the experience of much of the modern middle class. Now, before this turns into pure doom and gloom, there is something important you need to hear. Understanding the game is not the same as surrendering to it. And here is the counterintuitive part that most finance channels will never tell you. The answer is not to earn more money. More income without a different strategy just means more money flowing through the same broken pipe. The people who are actually winning in this economy stopped being wage earners who occasionally save and became asset owners who occasionally earn wages. That mental flip, that is everything. So here is what changes when you see the game clearly. And you can start today, not next month, not after your next raise, today. First, stop measuring success using outdated expectations. Your parents played a different version of this game, different prices, different opportunities, different obstacles, whether they were counting rupees or dollars or pounds. Comparing your chapter 3 to their chapter 25 only creates shame. Second, prioritize ownership over appearance. The pressure to look wealthy has never been stronger. Luxury lifestyles flood social media every single day, but the people quietly building real wealth often look surprisingly boring. They automate investments. They avoid lifestyle inflation. They buy assets before upgrading liabilities. Instead of asking, "Can I afford this monthly payment?" they ask, "Will this improve my future options or reduce them?" Third, pay your future self first. The moment your salary hits your account, whether that is rupees or dollars, move 15 to 20% straight into an index fund or SIP before anything else. Not what is left after spending, what comes out first. Treat it like the one bill you cannot miss. Every 1,000 rupees or $12 redirected and invested monthly at 12% annual returns over 20 years becomes roughly 9.6 lakh rupees, close to $11,500. The math is brutal and beautiful at the same time. Fourth, invest in skills that increase your leverage, not just your hours. Negotiation, sales, communication, technology, leadership. The modern economy rewards people who create disproportionate value. The goal is not to work harder. It is to make each hour worth more. And fifth, stop waiting for someone else to rescue you. Nobody is coming to rewrite the rules in your favor. That sounds harsh, but it is also the most empowering thing I can tell you. Because once you understand why you feel stuck, you stop blaming yourself. And when you stop blaming yourself, you can finally start making better decisions. Here is what I want you to walk away with. Feeling financially squeezed while earning more than previous generations does not mean you are lazy. It does not mean you are irresponsible. It does not mean you have failed. It means you are navigating an economy that looks completely different from the one your parents inherited. The map changed, the terrain shifted. The old advice is not enough anymore. But awareness creates options. You can learn the rules, you can adapt, you can focus on ownership instead of consumption, you can build leverage instead of relying solely on wages. You can play today's game instead of yesterday's, because the people who thrive financially over the next decade will not necessarily be the smartest. They will not all be born wealthy. They will simply be the ones willing to question the story they have been handed, the story that earning more automatically means living better. If you have been doing everything right and still feel like you are falling behind in rupees, in dollars, in any currency, you are not crazy. You are noticing seeing something real, and once you see it, you can finally stop running blindly on the treadmill. Every rupee, every dollar you redirect from consumption into ownership. That is a vote for a different future. Cast your first vote today.